Welcome to the Startup Grind. Talk about the events that you do once a week where everyone gets together on a Tuesday night, I believe. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's another thing that we try to do. We don't want to fill these people's time with meetings with millions of mentors and distractions. So we really want them to be able to focus on their product before demo day. But we do have a weekly meeting on Tuesdays. I don't want to call it a meeting, it's a dinner, and then we have a guest speaker. And oftentimes people will come early and do office hours with us on Tuesday. We have office hours, we post office hours any day, but a lot happen on Tuesday. Like every partner does office hours where the startups can talk to us about the burning issue of the week. And then that night we have dinner that originally Paul used to cook, but we've scaled up. We have actually crock-pot. We call them glops. They're usually like a chili or a stew that goes over rice. Very easy, and that scales pretty well. So then we have successful startup founders come talk, and the talks are totally off the record. So they're encouraged to kind of share really good details. Like some of the most exciting things I've learned about the history of Silicon Valley happened in Y Combinator at a dinner.
Off the record.
Off the record.
Yeah.
But we have had like a lot of successful startup founders come talk, and they never get boring. People say after like 8 years, don't you get sick of hearing like, this guy's talk? I'm like, no. Like Mark Pincus just came this week, and he had come before, and I heard new stuff. I love it. Never gets old.
It is interesting because I don't know, how many people knew about those dinners? Are people familiar? These are from people I've talked to, who do not talk about the content, but this is the best event you could go to in Silicon Valley. Other than, I've been to startup school, so I think it's pretty good, but these dinners are kind of legendary in terms of who comes and what's said. And I think this kind of ties into the whole YC community, which I would love to know how you guys look at that community. What as I reached out to several people and asked, hey, tell me about Jessica, tell me about some of the things she's done. It was interesting to me to see some of the reaction. First of all, that it's clear the community is very tight. It's almost airtight. And like these dinners, I can speak to almost, I'd say 99% of the time, nothing from those ever leaks out. And I just wonder, how do you look at community? And then how have you built that community? Do you have a set of values? What does that even mean to you?
Well, the YC community is very special, and we don't plan these things, but I think it just came from sort of Paul and I, our personalities and the way we treat the founders, and we encourage the founders to help one another. And we say, if you've gone through this recent batch, we'd like you to come back at the next batch and share your fundraising experiences with the new gang. And people feel really, obligated to come help people because they themselves have been helped.
Yeah.
And the alumni, it's so big now. There's like 2,000 alumni, and they all help each other out. And we have their friends, and we have this mailing list that I think if anyone encounters a problem, they can send technical problem or needing to get an introduction to someone, they just send it out.
We'd all love to get on that if that's...
Oh, yes.
It's restricted. But it's wonderful because, like, for example, we had a company a couple of years ago who were like featured by Apple because they happened to be the one billionth like app download or something, and they got featured on TV or something crazy, and their servers like melted. They could not handle this traffic, and they sent something out at like 11 p.m. like, oh my God, our servers are on fire. We do not know what to do. Can anyone help us? And 5 minutes later, like the CloudKick guys who are experts in managing all this stuff were like, we'll be there tonight, come over, and like he stayed up all night like helping them.
Wow.
And it was just like the greatest thing. They all help one another. So it's very special.